Hello, everybody, and welcome to the midweek market update from Smack the Markets for the 15th of May. Now, this week has been a week of trade war rhetoric, if there ever has been one, and the news flows between the US and China on their sort of trade discussions has really sort of rocked many markets. Now, that's created quite a lot of opportunities, and we've had some very nice moves that we've taken advantage of in the trading room. So let's take a look at how the markets have fared that we discussed in Monday's newsletter, and take a look at some of the markets that we're focusing on throughout the remainder of the week. So if we come and take a look at the Dow Jones here, this is the Dow Future. Now, on Monday, what we were looking for was the market to retest 25,500. Then we were looking for a retest down here towards the 25,000 level. Those two key levels on this market. Now, I thought the market was going to get there on Monday. It had a pretty strong move once the market broke 25.50. Now, it came down. It sort of got down halfway down to the 25,000, and then we've got that reverse rebound here at around sort of 25,200, that sort of 25,250, that sort of area. You can see that with the market sort of putting in a bit of support here or bouncing here, you can see that this now sort of highlights this sort of level. It's a level that's never been particularly clean in the past, but now with this extra precise test here, I think the market's established a key level of support. Now, I still think the trend is short here. Obviously, the market's being thrown around by the news rhetoric at this moment in time. But if we take a look at where the market is at the moment, it's retraced back into 25,050, back into that, or 25,500, I should say, back into that sort of key level in the context of a short trend. So we'll be looking for opportunities for this market to continue its trend direction, which is to the short side. So we have 25,200 down here, these previous lows. Then the 25,000 are the levels that are on our sort of target list for the short side. Now, anything can happen, of course, with these big sort of fundamental news rhetoric sort of flying around. And if the market does break to the long side here, then we could be looking for a new trading window on the short time basis. So I would sort of put that area around that 25,650 area. That gets us above the sort of knuckle here that you can see that the market's putting in on the 4-hour time frame. There's also a level around 25,630, gets us above that, and there's a trading window there up to that historical level that we've always been had plenty of trades up to, which is that 25,850 area. Now, we also looked at oil on Monday, and we were looking for strong oil prices throughout the course of the week. Now, they haven't actually materialized, and what's happened is we've had some rather disappointing news on oil, and of course the sort of trade battles that have been sort of playing out haven't helped the oil price as well. Now, the level what we were looking for was a breakout here above that sort of 62.50 area. We're looking for 62.50 to get opportunities above 62.50 to look for trades up towards the sort of 64.80, sort of 65 level. So the level that we identified was here on the 60-minute chart. You can see it's much more precisely tested here. As you can see, the market poked its nose above it. There was no trading opportunities to get positioned here, and now we're underneath that level. So our analysis still sort of stands, but we're not looking at oil long until the market can get above that 62.50 level. Now, then we looked at a couple of Aussie markets here. So it was Euro Aussie and Great British Pound against the Aussie. Now, the Euro Aussie is playing out very nicely. So we were looking for longs above this breakout here on the weekly chart. You can see the market's now sort of quite nicely broken out above there. We've got long trends forming here in the sort of mid time frames. There's plenty of sort of opportunities here to sort of get into these sort of trends when they're running like this. We're still bullish on Euro Aussie. and we're looking for sort of, if we come and have a look at this on the daily, we're looking for sort of long moves as long as this trend sort of stays intact up to sort of, well, around the sort of 16350 area, up towards these sort of previous highs. So again, if you've ridden this ride, it would be wise to sort of look at covering risk, especially before we get to this sort of level here. The Great British Pound against the Aussie, this one hasn't sort of broken out and hasn't sort of played out. The reason being is the technical trend structure was as nice as the Euro Aussie. In fact, if probably nicer from a just a purely technical perspective, but the fundamentals going on with the Great British Pound is really sort of weighing on this market. So we were looking for, again, if we come to the 60-minute chart, we were looking for bullish opportunities above this breakout level on the 60-minute chart here. You can see that the market poked its nose above it. It's clearly underneath the level now. So our analysis still stands, but we're not interested in opportunities unless this market gets above that level on the 60-minute chart. With the news flow and political sort of news flow in the UK at the moment as well, that could make opportunities on Great British Pound fairly volatile as well. So we have to keep that in the back of our minds. So sort of going forward, opportunities throughout the remainder of the week. Well, I think as this week has already been all about the sort of trade tensions between the US and China, I think it'd be fair to say it'd be a good idea to sort of look at those related markets for continued volatility going throughout the remainder of the week. So dollar yen here, we can see is one of the yen markets. In fact, we've been looking at many of these yen markets. We like a lot of these yens, the strength of the yen particularly. And you can see that the dollar yen here, it's a good example of one of these markets where it's had a very good trend structures across all of these higher time frames. The market's back into a key level at the moment, so it's pulled back into the moving average zone. It's also pulled back into the 109.50 area. So just by looking at technical analysis alone, we could be looking, this is sort of a nice sort of area where short traders might be looking at opportunities for new positions to the short side. There is a few signs here that that the trends are starting to look a little bit, or these moves are starting to look a little bit on the stretch side, with a bit of divergence coming in on these. But again, with the way that the trade rhetoric is driving these markets, that's likely to be the major deciding sort of factor. So always caution when you're looking at new opportunities within any sort of trending markets, but technically these markets look very weak and look like the short side to continue. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room this week. I certainly hope it helps. I look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.